Yield 5 minutes to Ms. Schakowsky from Illinois.
Thank you so much. This is such an important conversation. It's about money, essentially, and it's about debt, and it's about how we manage our budget. But actually, I think it's a lot more than that. What are the things that are most important that we cover? And I hear you talking about Social Security and Medicare. How do you weigh those things? We know that during the Trump years, there was actually nearly $2 trillion in debt that was occurred when he was the president of the United States. And where did that money in tax cuts go? By and large, to the wealthiest Americans. So I want to talk a little bit about the morality of how we cover our debt and what becomes important. And the very idea that Obamacare, for example, is a bad idea because it's too expensive. And yet we have so many more people who are now covered with health care. I have certainly received, and I think most members have, from constituents who say, thank God, my child was born with a disease that's going to last his life, and now we can afford that. Or people who say, without Obamacare, I probably would not have been alive. And we now have two, I guess they're trillionaires, who are making decisions about the things that we're going to have in how much money we're going to spend. And among the things that I guess have been suggested is that there being a cut in veterans' health care. Veterans' health care. And also Pell Grants, the money to help students to go to college. So I just want to say, this is not just about balancing the budget, about cutting the budget. And I wanted to ask you the question about, yes, doctor, I'm going to call you doctor too, where do these kinds of decisions come in? And what if we were to say, how about there's another way to get more money, and that would be asking the very wealthiest people who can well afford more money to keep this wonderful government going. What would that be as another way to weigh what is important in terms of balancing our budget?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I think you're just right to highlight the distributional consequences of these budget decisions. All parts of the government spending and all parts of taxes are not alike in their effects on economic growth or the effects on who bears the burden of these changes. And I think it's very appropriate for you and your colleagues to think hard about those issues. I also agree with you that these government programs that you and others have talked about are a crucial counterweight to a widening of the income distribution that we've seen in this country over the last several decades, and to a decline in income mobility that we've seen in this country over the last several decades. And these programs can make a huge difference, both in the immediate lives of people and in their ability and their children's ability to thrive over time. So I think that it would be a very appropriate part of a deficit reduction agreement to raise taxes on higher income people, in my own view. But I do want to echo something that Romina said a few minutes ago about something being good but not sufficient. And if you look at the budget options that CBO presents, it includes options that involve raising taxes on higher income people. And you can raise a good deal of money that way by any normal human standard, but nonetheless, that was much less than you would need in the total to put debt on a sustainable path. So my own values have me agreeing, my own assessment of the economic evidence about the effects of tax increases has me agreeing with you that raising taxes on higher income people would and should be part of a deficit reduction agreement. But I want to caution that other changes will be needed in taxes or spending as well.
Well, in the second I have, let me just say to my Republican colleagues who think Social Security and Medicare should be on the table, I want to say, make my day, because most Americans really oppose that idea. Thank you very much.
I thank the gentlelady, and now yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from South